goddamn garage. What do you call it, baby? My goddamn garage. What do you call it, Jacob? My goddamn garage is what I call it, baby. My goddamn garage. What do you call it, Jacob? My goddamn garage. What do you call it, baby? The internet's pretty crazy. I really don't think it makes a lot of sense that I have the power to just say whatever the hell I please and broadcast it to the entire world, or whoever the hell decides to click on the button and see it. That seems like too crazy a power for a regular human being to have. And I think we almost all wield this power completely irresponsibly. We're new to the tech, we don't know what we're doing, and it's nuts the way that we treat this, the way we communicate with one another using this technology. It should be obvious right from the get-go, because it was told by many people before us, that in this new global village where we all get closer together, we're going to re-tribalize, and it's not going to be based around geographical lines. It's going to be based around ideological lines, because not only do we get to say whatever we want, we also get to congregate in little groups of like-minded people if we so choose, right? And so the tribes are no longer going to have to be decided by the land around you and how you respond to those actual people, because you can just choose to ignore those people and go off somewhere else online. I remember when I was younger, there was a guy, I won't say his name, but he was a skinhead in high school. And he had big docks with red laces, tight jeans, white shirt, red suspenders, head shaved, obviously, the whole 9 yards. And he was the only one, right? Maybe there was one other guy who was toying with the idea. And by the time he grew up, he had grown out of that phase and become a mild conservative, I guess you could say, with even some liberal tendencies. And I don't know if that would happen today. Because today, that guy could go online and just log on and find his community of like-minded individuals, and they're all going to just encourage that behavior. And to hell with what the people in his local community think. He just won't tell them the truth. That's all. No big deal there. It's not a good idea. This global village retribalization is dangerous, and we have to be careful that we don't stray too far from the people that we're living with. So when Trump got banned recently, people would ask, do you think Trump should have been banned? And the question is almost moot at this point. They could have asked this question a year or two or whatever years ago. I remember when Meghan Murphy got banned for saying, what the hell did she say again? What, men can't be women, though? Something like that. Already that was an issue. And it was an issue before that, even with who they would choose to give a platform to and not give a platform to. And as more and more people got banned and other places would crop up, obviously, either on the darknet or alternate servers or who knows what's going to happen as people divide into more and more little groups. So I almost feel like, to hell with it, man. Shut it all down. Screw it. Everybody has to be a publisher. You have to pay for content, whether it is that you're producing content, you have to be paid for it, or whether or not you're viewing content, you have to pay to view it. There should be no free platform for everybody. It should all be paid. There's no other way that makes sense to me at this point. Now, obviously, I'm not a legal person. I don't really believe that, but that's just how it feels sometimes because it's so nuts the way people treat this technology. There's no responsibility and no repercussions. It reminds me of that Robert E. Howard quote about civilized men are more discourteous than savages because they know they can be impolite without having their skulls split. Like either that or just let everything go into hell with it. Just let everybody do whatever the hell they're going to do then if it's going to go the other way. I don't know. There's no good solution to any of this. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. All I can think is that people need to be taught what this technology means as young as possible. I don't know why we don't have media analysis classes starting at a very young age. It seems like an essential thing at this point. We're surrounded by it. Our entire environment is dictated by this stuff. It changes how we see each other, how we see the world. It changes everything. And we spend more time thinking about how we actually post whatever the hell it is than we do about what this technology does to who we are as a species. And it's time that changed. We're not compromising anymore. That guy, that skinhead, he changed because he had to compromise based on the world around him and find a way to sort of make peace with everybody. We're not doing it to become boring people or to lose who we are. We're doing it so that we can live together. We don't naturally all love each other as much as we might like to think that. It's a nice goal and everything, but that's just not the way we naturally are. And we need to be able to compromise with those around us. And that's not going to happen if we're never with them. There is also this notion that's pretty persuasive that it gives power to the people. And we saw that with the Wall Street Reddit attack the other day. We've seen it with Anonymous in the past, We've seen this with WikiLeaks, all kinds of ideas where the people become empowered. And that's great in theory, and it sounds virtuous and noble and all of that. And there's something nice about it, but it's also kind of terrifying, because I don't know if the will of the people is always a great thing, especially in cases like where we can't seem to get along with our neighbors. We're not even speaking the same language anymore, because as you build these online tribes, and the different communities, they have their own forms of shorthand, their own way of interpreting what someone says. And you can see it when people on the left and right talk to each other online, how they seem to be completely talking past each other and intentionally misinterpreting each other's words in order to gain an advantage in an argument. And this kind of attitude isn't just an online tactic for fun. It starts to settle in as a real way of thinking for those people involved, and maybe even for the larger community. They start to actually see each other that way. When you reduce the conversation to these little snippets and sound bites, it's almost like you're reducing the people down too. It's like when you're driving in a car and the other people in the other cars aren't really real anymore. They're surrounded by these big, huge chunks of metal, completely protected from you and your thoughts about them. They're not human anymore. That's it. No more free platforms. We're just not good enough as a species to handle it. We're not mature enough. Shut them all down. Gone. Shut them down.
People read ads about things they already own. Feel reassured that they have already bought the right thing. They send you the package as a direct personal service. This is where we're heading under electronic information conditions. Products increasingly are becoming services. Understand everything that's going on, neutralize it as much as possible, turn off as many buttons as you can, frustrate them as much as you can. I am determined to understand what's happening. And it seems to me the best way of proposing is to understand it, and then you know where to turn off the button.